How could one sentence from Taehyung make thousands of ARMY silent, cry, even question everything about BTS's current relationship? Why did the remark come up right after Jimin and Jungkook were discharged? What is hidden from the camera? Taehyung, open up. Jimin and Jungkook are back. What's wrong? Jungkook and Jimin are sent home. But Taehyung's words left the ARMY speechless. Is this the end of the friendship they've been fighting for? Or is this just the beginning of a new chapter that we never expected? When news that Jimin and Jungkook had finally been discharged from their official duties spread like wildfire among the ARMY, many thought the moment would be a bright spot, a celebration. But who would have thought? The first sentence that came out of Kim Taehyung's mouth actually changed everything. It's not Haru, nor is it the typical laughter of their warm friendship. But one sentence, that silence hurts more than a cry of anger. What's the point of going home if everything is not the same anymore? In an instant, the atmosphere that was originally full of hope turned tense, sad, and lonely. It's not just touching, it's stabbing. Is this satire? Is this a confession? Or is there a wound that Taehyung has been hiding all this time? And more importantly, to whom is the sentence actually addressed? Is Taehyung talking about her? About his friendship with Jimin? With Jungkook? Or is it about the integrity of BTS itself? Not a few ARMY began to guess. Is this related to rumors that had circulated that the relationship between the three cracked while on different assignments? Or is it harboring truths that we have not known so far about sacrifice, misunderstanding, or even unintentional betrayal? Even the staff who were at the location when the meeting took place was said to be immediately silent when Taehyung said that sentence. Nobody knows how to respond. Even Jimin himself reportedly just looked down. Jungkook? He reportedly stared at Taehyung for a long time but didn't say a word. There was a silence louder than sound. And that's where it all started. Why did Taehyung say that? Isn't he the one who has always seemed the most cheerful, the most mature in uniting the differences between the spontaneous Jungkook and the emotional Jimin? But that day, Taehyung was different. His attitude changed. His eyes spoke, even before his mouth uttered a word. And when he finally spoke, the world seemed to stop. Some sources say that the moment occurred right after a simple welcoming event that HYBE held behind closed doors. No media. There is no live broadcast. But a documentary camera captured it, and pieces of the anonymously leaked footage reveal uncharacteristic faces. Jungkook looked stiff, Jimin looked tired, and Taehyung stood a few steps further away from the two of them. What happened before that moment? And more than that, what's been going on between the three of them all this time? Speculation arose mercilessly. Some say that yesterday's farewell to military duty was not only a physical, but also an emotional one. That distance has created room for misunderstanding. That there was Jimin's message that was misinterpreted by Taehyung, or Jungkook's decision that was not well communicated. But is that really reason enough for Taehyung to throw a sentence that shook the entire fandom? And why until recently, none of them gave official clarifications? Armies around the world were divided. Some blamed Taehyung for making the atmosphere tense. There are those who defend, believing that Taehyung has only kept too many wounds that he cannot share. And not a few are starting to bring up the past, about small events that used to be considered trivial, but now feel like pieces of a puzzle. Remember when Taehyung deleted a post that was supposed to be aimed at Jimin a few months ago? Or when Jungkook suddenly missed a live due to unexplained personal reasons? Now, all those details are coming back to the surface, raising a much bigger question. Are BTS still really one heart? When Jimin and Jungkook finally give their response, in the form of a silent photo upload on Weverse with no caption, just a faint smile, the situation gets even more confusing. The smile is too thin to be called happy and too tired to be considered calm. Are they trying to convey something? Or hiding from something? Meanwhile, Taehyung chooses silence. Even in a brief interaction at a fan sign event a few days later, he only answered questions about music, without touching on personal topics. But his eyes still kept the same silence as that day. And ARMY knows, Taehyung's silence doesn't mean nothing happened. Quite the opposite. That's the signal that a big storm is lurking. What's really going on behind the scenes? Is HYBE putting together a narrative to keep things looking okay? Or are they also confused about the fact that 3 of the 7 main pillars of BTS are now standing in silence, respectively? Dan, could this be the beginning of a split? Or the end of the long lies they've been covering up to keep ARMY smiling? What is clear, Taehyung's sentence that day will never be forgotten. What's the point of going home if everything is not the same anymore? A sentence that shakes. Sentences that reveal more than 1,000 other words. And behind it, kept a secret that remains unsolved. But one thing is certain. After this, nothing will be the same. Since the sentence was uttered, thousands of hearts like ARMY pierced invisible thorns. It is not only the sound of his voice, but also the tone of his voice. The shakes in Taehyung's intonation that day were like carrying a burden that had been buried for a long time. Not a momentary emotion, but the wounds were hidden for years. Is Taehyung really unhappy? Or does he feel emotionally abandoned by those closest to him? And if so, why did he choose to say it when Jimin and Jungkook had just been discharged? Wasn't that moment supposed to be a hug, not a confrontation? Some fans who have been following the trio's dynamic for a long time are starting to recall their early days when Jimin and Taehyung were still together in a small rehearsal room, joking around late into the night. As the young and awkward Jungkook always seeks refuge behind Taehyung's big laugh. But it all feels so far away now, like blurred memories behind foggy glass. Something's changed. But what? One of the clues may be found from Taehyung's personal journal that was leaked in the past. In it, Taehyung writes a sentence that now feels so relevant. Sometimes I feel like a spectator in a story I'm supposed to be playing. Has Taehyung been feeling isolated for a long time? Beyond the gleaming stage and the togetherness that appears on camera, is there a quiet space that no one can understand? Even Jimin? Even Jungkook? ARMY began to realize, maybe we have been too focused on the visible. We love their smiles, their jokes, their moments of togetherness. But we forget that behind every smile could be hidden an unspoken conflict. That the word back does not always mean as before. And Taehyung's speech that day, was it a form of protest? Or is it the last wish before it's too late? I don't want everyone to pretend to be happy anymore, continues Taehyung's sentence, which has not been widely reported. If you want to come back with a heart, not just the body. Jimin's eyes reportedly began to glaze over when he heard that sentence. Jungkook bit his lip, as if holding back something that had not been revealed. There was a frozen moment between the three. Documentary cameras capture meaningful cross-eyed glances. But no hugs. No apologies. Just shut up, and ARMY knows, in BTS's ever-meaning-filled world, silence is more dangerous than anger. Flashback. Invisible crack some time ago, there was a moment when Jimin and Jungkook performed in an overseas event without Taehyung present. Many thought Taehyung was busy with his solo project. But is it true? Or did he deliberately pull away? Observant fans catch there is something different since then. Jimin and Jungkook look more and more compact, even making content together several times. Taehyung? It appears more on its own, with a soft tone of voice, yet eyes that are like waiting for something that never comes. There is a video where Taehyung once said, "Sometimes I miss the times when we had nothing but each other." A simple sentence. But when replayed today, that sentence sounds like the moaning of a friend who is slowly being abandoned. And now, after Jimin and Jungkook return from their military assignments, the moment of reunion is not greeted by laughter and hugs, but one sentence from Taehyung, who stopped the world. What's the point of going home if everything is not the same anymore? The question is, what makes everything not the same? Hint. Secret letters and notes are left behind. One of the sources said that before Jimin and Jungkook were sent home, Taehyung had sent a letter that they never replied to. The letter was not an ordinary letter, it was handwritten with emotional content. In the letter, Taehyung is said to reveal his loneliness, his sense of abandonment, and the big question, am I still a part of you? The letter, according to internal sources, was read but not responded to immediately. The reason? Because Jimin and Jungkook are in a late transition period and are not allowed too much personal contact. But Taehyung doesn't know. He thought his letter was ignored, and since then his heart changed. Many say this is just a misunderstanding. But in a world of feelings, One small misunderstanding can kill a whole beautiful story built over the years. And now, the story seems to be crumbling, page by page. Terrible silence. ARMY reaction. How did fans feel when they found out that the phrase actually came out of Taehyung's mouth? Shock. Confused. Angry. Sut. Not a. That day was supposed to be a new beginning. Jungkook and Jimin, who have been discharged from their military duties, return to the home they have longed for, a studio, stage, and family called BTS. But who would have thought? The return actually opened Pandora's box that had been deliberately closed tightly. When Taehyung stood in front of them and said those hurt words, no one dared to make a sound. Even the cameras seemed to freeze. Jungkook, who is usually the most expressive, only clasped his left hand tightly, a sign that he was holding something. Jimin is down, and Taehyung just staring, no further words. The question is, why is it that when everyone is looking forward to a reunion, this kind of honesty emerges? Could it be that during this time BTS themselves have changed too much? Could it be that the burdens they carry, fame, expectations, and responsibility, have created a distance that can no longer be bridged by the mere word, sorry? HYBE under pressure. We cannot regulate their emotions. A few hours after the short video showing Taehyung's sentence was leaked to social media, the hashtags #SpeakUpTaehyung and #ProtectBTS immediately trended in more than 15 countries. ARMY is divided into two big poles: those who feel Taehyung deserves to express his feelings, and those who are disappointed that honesty shows up in a moment that should be full of happiness. But one thing is undeniable. The truth, no matter how painful, must be spoken. HYBE finally spoke up. In a brief and stammering statement, they stated that each member has their own emotional space that we cannot control. It was the first acknowledgement from management that BTS internal relationships have not always been as beautiful as they appear on camera. But the ARMY asks, why is this only now visible? Has HYBE been deliberately covering up the emotional gap between members in order to maintain BTS's ideal image? Are there moments of tension that are deliberately edited out so as not to cause a public uproar? And most importantly, does this mean that a split is inevitable? Taehyung: I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. In a private post that was soon deleted, Taehyung wrote a short sentence but hit, I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. And disappointment is more difficult to cure. The sentence instantly spread like wildfire in the middle of a sea of gasoline. Fans who read it felt as if they were slapped. The word disappointed carries a much deeper wound than just an ordinary quarrel, because disappointed means hope never was. But now it has collapsed. Some sources say that Taehyung has been feeling deprived of space by Jimin and Jungkook. He feels as if he is limited by an old bond that has not been fed by togetherness. Even when all three are in one place, the interaction that occurs is only a formality. There are no longer any warm hugs backstage. No more late-night jokes. There is no we anymore. And now, after his two best friends return from a faraway place, Taehyung feels even more distant than before. It was as if they were just going home physically, but their hearts were left on a different terrain. Old memories that come back painful in various past documentaries. We often see how closely the three of them bond. Jimin, who could never sleep without hugging Taehyung. Jungkook referred to Taehyung as the one who calmed me down the most. They used to be inseparable, but now, even just looking into each other's eyes feels awkward. ARMY began to dig back old pieces of video. One of the most heart-wrenching is the footage from 2017, in which Taehyung and Jimin once had a loud fight during rehearsals, and it ended in a hug and tears. They once learned to listen to each other, but can they still do it today? Jungkook is silent, but his gestures say a lot. The most surprising thing is Jungkook's attitude. He hasn't said a word since that incident. But in the behind-the-scenes photos, she looks at Taehyung's back with almost glassy eyes. There's a wound there. There is a loss. But there are also doubts. ARMY speculates. Did Jungkook actually want to talk, but was afraid it would make things worse? Some of them believe that Jungkook still harbors guilt because during his military service, he rarely contacted Taehyung. Reportedly, one of HYBE's scheduled calls was cancelled due to time conflicts, and Taehyung found out. Could it be the turning point of everything, the most painful question? Is this the end of Jimin Jungkook? There's no denying that part of BTS's beauty lies in the emotional dynamics between its members.